Dandavats devotees, so I was given some homework to explain each verse of the nectar of instruction in my own words, something like that. Um, this may take a while. So, text 1. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. This makes me think about how, they say Brahmins are situated in higher principles. Um, they're situated in truth so that they can't be swayed from deviating from the truth um, by being offered like material things or position, money, stuff like that. Like we see so often these days, leaders and politicians and stuff like that, they're easily swayed from the path of truth and compassion by money and prestige and stuff like that. So someone who's in the position of a guru should be situated in truth and not be enticed to deviate from the truth um, by the uncontrolled senses, something like that. Um, Text 2. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more necessary or collecting more funds than required. So we all know that if you eat too much, then you sleep too much, or you can't have energy to do more service, collecting more funds than required. It's explained that a neophyte can't properly use money in the Lord's service properly. So if someone has a lot of money, then naturally they're not advanced in Krishna consciousness, naturally they're not going to use that money in the Lord's service. Over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. That are very difficult to attain. Yeah, it's explained that we should whatever comes to us on the material platform, um we should accept whatever comes to us and not try to um endeavor too much for the bare. We should have a simple life, usually um only really have what we really need. I really like the example in the Bhagavatam where Prahlad Maharaj, he's like touring the universe and he sees this kind of like fat man laying on the ground. Um, and Prahlad Maharaj notices him that he's like kind of fat, you know what I mean? Um, so Prahlad Maharaj thinks he has some fat, so he's clearly eating, you know what I mean? But he's just lying on the ground. And then he talks to this Python yogi, which he was doing this Python yogi thing. Um, and he told Prahlad Maharaj that, I just lay here on the ground and whatever is destined to come to me, I will take. If food comes to me, I'll eat. If food doesn't come to me, I won't eat. Sometimes I live in a palace, sometimes I sleep on the ground, you know what I mean? So, in a sense, my understanding is that whatever comes to us on the material platform, it's kind of destined to come, and we can try to endeavor more, but whatever is destined to us will come. Um, that's my understanding. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, which I think is very difficult for me, especially being around a lot of people. I just talk a bunch of nonsense and it's very degrading to the consciousness. Um, Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Um, yeah, if you just, like we've seen a lot, that someone who just practices, they it seems like their view is that if I follow this set of rules and regulations, um, then how do I say, if I follow this set of rules and regulations, then um, I'm entitled to become an authority, or people listen to me, and rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Um, Rejecting the rules and regulations. Um, yeah, because in the scriptures, the pure devotees, they've given us a system. Since the pure devotees, they know Krishna, they know how to please Krishna, and they know how we can get out of this entanglement, the conditioned soul. They know how the conditioned soul can get out of this entanglement. So they've given their instructions and they've given the scriptures. It's a system how we can get out of our conditioned nature. And if we think, oh, I know better than them, I know better than the scriptures, then it won't work out, because we'll just be following our mind, our uncontrolled mind. Associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. Like Prabhupada gives the example, like, if you hang out with a bunch of drunkards, naturally you're going to be a drunkard. If you hang around with a bunch of thieves, naturally you're going to become a thief. And if you hang out with devotees, you're going to become a devotee, something like that. And being greedy for mundane achievements. Mundane achievements, they're on the material platform, they're on the mundane platform, and therefore striving hard, being greedy for attaining these things, it has no benefit. It only degrades our consciousness, something like that. Text 3, there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. Being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence. Yeah, our spiritual masters teach us that Krishna is our friend. The spiritual masters, they're our true friends. They really care about us. And they're telling us that we have this beautiful life, this beautiful existence. There's this beautiful infinite reality beyond what our senses are perceiving right now. They're telling us that we have such great hope. So we should be enthusiastic and endeavor with confidence, be patient, that I'm very conditioned. I'm very conditioned right now, but I have faith that what they're telling me is true, and this is the greatest achievement of the soul, eternal blissful life. That I should be very enthusiastic to attain this, to be on this path. I should endeavor with confidence, because this is real. And be patient that I'm conditioned. I'm not gonna attain this in 1 second. Acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smarnam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Yeah, we should always hear and chant about Krishna, because this actually gives life to us in every stage of practicing Krishna consciousness. Even if we're practicing or we fully attain the supreme goal, that hearing and chanting about Krishna will give us inspiration in life. And if we stop hearing and chanting about Krishna, then there's no point to doing anything. Something like that. Abandoning the association of non-devotees. Yeah, they say, like, they may, if we come to Krishna consciousness and our family members, we leave our family members and friends, and they may say, oh, why do you only associate with devotees? You're in a cult, something like that. You won't associate with normal people. But actually associating with people who are not, intimately associating with people who are not devotees, it has no point. I mean, what do people do these days? I don't know, like, smoke weed, intoxicate themselves, have sex, and, like, I don't know, watch some nonsense on the TV, and I don't know. What people do for pleasure in this world, it's just a waste of time. Following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, so the acharyas, they're situated in absolute truth. They know Krishna. They come from that eternal spiritual realm. And so they're giving us the path by which we can attain that goal. They know what's best for us. They're prescribing us medicine and a method by which we can attain Krishna, devotional service. So we should follow what they're saying. Text 4, offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially. Accepting prasadam and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Yeah, so it's like just on the material platform, not doing these things with a devotee, just like doing this with your family and friends, then naturally you'll develop an intimate, loving relationship with that person. So what to speak of on the devotional platform with devotees? I've heard it said that devotional service, it's not, in Krishna consciousness, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So the strongest thing that I think will keep us in Krishna consciousness, if we have loving relationships with devotees, we have some responsible position with some service, you know what I mean? If we have a loving relationship with the devotees, then we'll have no reason to go back to our old family and friends and lifestyle, because our real friends, our real family are in the devotee community. And doing these things will develop love for other devotees. Revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, I think is especially very, very helpful, because we're so conditioned. We have so many problems in our mind and daily life, and if we just tell this to a devotee we trust, we reveal these things to a devotee, then first of all, just revealing these things is just a relief, a big burden, and they'll tell us, then they'll give us some instructions how we can progress. Anyways, I don't want to make this too long. It's already very long. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Krishna. Text 5. Someone who's chanting the name of Krishna, that is very, very rare in this mundane world. So we should mentally honor this person. We should offer obeisances to the devotees who has undergone spiritual initiation diksha and is engaged in worshiping the deity. That is even more rare in this material world. Very rare that someone is endeavoring steadily to serve Krishna in this world. It's said 1 out of millions of people in this world is trying to attain the perfection of life. So we should offer humble obeisances to that person and faithfully serve that pure devotee who's advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. We should serve that person who is in true connection with Krishna, because by serving that person, Krishna accepts us, Krishna is pleased with us, and then we can make advancement. I think it's really important here, devoid of the propensity to criticize others. How exalted, how rare, how is such a person? They don't have a propensity to criticize others, judge others. I think that's really very important. If we can find someone like that, we should take their association. Text 6. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee as having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee, but despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which during the rainy season are sometimes full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water. This is very deep. I think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he made it a point to destroy this conception that in India they thought that only a person who is born in a Brahmin family can be accepted as a Brahmin. But that's not true. Whatever race, whatever religion, whatever background, whatever country a person is born in, if someone is seriously taking to Krishna consciousness, to devotional service, they should be accepted as a spiritual master. And even if this person who may seem sick or have some bodily problems, this person is situated in the transcendental position, and they're not affected by the body or the body situation. They're completely separate from this bodily identification. That's really very deep. Text 7. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya ignorance cannot taste anything sweet, It is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. Yeah, I thought this is like one of the most important verses I've ever seen. Um, yeah, it's explained many times that jaundice is a condition where you get sick and the remedy is eating sugar. Um, but since you're sick, you're eating the sugar and it tastes very bitter. So in the same way, we're very conditioned. And Krishna and his holy name and pastimes, that's actually sweet. That's the sweetest thing ever. But since we're so conditioned, we think these things are like poison, very bitter to us. But the more we do this, carefully do this every day, then we'll begin to develop taste for this and really appreciate this and want to do it more and more. Um, yeah. Text 8. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time 24 hours a day in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vrajagaloka Vrindavan Dham and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. Yeah, I was just reading in the Search for Sri Krishna that there was that Englishman or something, and he was in a plane, and the plane was about to crash, and he said, Lord, I don't know if you're there, but if you're there, please save me from this, and I'll dedicate my life 24 hours a day in service to you. And then he found out, oh, I'm still alive. So the plane crashed, and he's still alive, so he went to the bishops at the church and asked them, how can I engage my whole life 24 hours a day in the Lord's service? And they said, we don't have a system to give you to engage your full time in the Lord's service like that, but you can go to India. I've heard there are yogis who are connected with the Lord constantly in trance in their heart, so you can go there. Yeah, and the amazing thing about Krishna consciousness is that you can do everything. There's so much variety of things you can do for the Lord's service, so we can be engaged all day, and only under the guidance of the devotees can we actually serve Krishna, utilize all our time and energy 24 hours a day in the Lord's service. Only by serving a devotee who is advanced can we actually do that. So text 9. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes, and superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokul, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? I really don't know what I can say about this. So I will skip this. Text 10. In the Shastra it is said that of all types of fruit of workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge jnanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental coward boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her Kund lake is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis, who then will not reside at Radhakund and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, Aprakrita Bhav, render loving service to the divine couples Sri Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Ashtakaliya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radhakund are the most fortunate people in the universe. Yeah, this makes me think about how, when I first came to Krishna consciousness, this devotee, he was telling me how, out of thousands of people, one will inquire into the actual goal of life, and out of thousands of millions of those people, one will actually take to Krishna consciousness. This, how high, how rare is this path that we've come in connection with. And yeah, I don't know what to say about this, but it's really how amazing we are. We're in this situation where our spiritual masters, they descend from this plane, and they're trying to connect us and give us service with the highest plane, the highest plane. So someone who's actually intelligent will endeavor for this thing that is seemingly impossible and so high. Text 11. Of the many objects of favor, delight, and of all the lovable damsels of Rajabhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love, and in every respect her divine Kund is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radhakund is very rarely attained, even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. This makes me think about when I started hearing about Sridhar Maharaj and stuff like that, and he was saying, I heard that well, first of all, there was this instance where a bunch of Prabhupada's disciples went to Radhakund and they were swimming and dancing in cannonballs and splashing in Radhakund, and when Prabhupada heard this, he said, they have given Radharani a slap on the face, something like that. And Prabhupada was very disturbed, and he didn't want them to swim there anymore. And actually, I heard from Sridhar Maharaj and Bhaktisiddhanta that actually you shouldn't even swim in Radhakund, you just take a few drops on your head. Because it's so high, you know what I mean? And, anyways, it seems really offensive to immerse your whole disgusting conditioned body in Radhakund. Anyways, that's another topic. But I think that's it. This took way longer than I thought it would, or should have. But it's so deep. Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita is so deep, it can be talked about and elaborated on, and millions of pages of books can be written and spoken about just these few verses. So anyway, that's something. So Haribol, please don't chastise me.